How's it? Today is Wednesday, May 14th. We are back with the barbell work today. Today was a clean and jerk centric day with some back squats at the end. Today was really fun. There were a lot of people at the gym today. There was a group of boys that I haven't seen in like a year. They're really young. Well, they're in college, but they go to San Jose State. And last time I saw them was the first time I met them was last year. And they were lifting pretty heavy, and it was kind of cool to be around there. But shout out to Gabe, Ethan, and Jordan. I don't know if you guys ever watch these videos. There's a chance. There is a chance. I also saw Doug, who is one of our like older lifters. He's like 70, 68 or something like that. But he's been out for a while because he actually had a back issue, and it's always good to see him. I talk a lot about cameras and stuff with him, but yeah, today was pretty good. Started off today with some thrusters. These are my mortal enemy. Whew, that was a hard catch. These are my mortal enemy. I was supposed to do one heavy set of two, and kind of do doubles all the way up. I initially thought that 90 was going to be sufficient for me for my set of two. And you see here that 90, like, it was pretty challenging, but I actually go up, and 100 is, like, pretty good. And I think, like, that 90 was kind of on the fence of, like, is this easy enough for me to push to 100? I watched the video, and then I have a lot of speed on it, so, like, I feel that it's actually pretty reasonable to increase, and I did, and I didn't miss, so that's really good. I think the last time I did thrusters, I think I missed at 100. Maybe it was a 105 that I missed at, but I do remember struggling quite a bit on those. So it's really good to know that I can do a double at 100. After that, I did my power clean, hang clean, and then actually I'm not doing power jerk complex. I'm doing jerk in the complex. So going up to 105-ish. He told me like between 100 and 105 and do about 10 sets total. So I do 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. That's 5 sets there, and then I do 105 for 5 sets. Well, I actually do a sixth one because as I got to 100, I texted my coach and I was like, "Oh, do you want me to use a belt?" And he didn't respond immediately. So I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna use the belt because that's what I always do at 100. If the weight's at 100 for clean related things, I will always use the belt." And so I put the belt on, and then he texted me like right after I did my first or my set at 100, and then I was like, okay, like he's like he'd rather it be quick and snappy with the belt than be a little bit sluggish and slightly out of position without the belt. So I kept the belt on for all 5 sets at 105. And then I did one extra set at 105 without the belt, and it was actually fine. So I probably should have took the belt off to start, but it is what it is, and I'm happy I made the choices that I did. One thing to note today is my hamstrings are on fire. They are so tight. Everything feels like I don't want to say like I'm gonna hurt myself, but it feels like, oh, that's just when Doug walks in. It feels like my hamstrings are just very, very, very tight. And it feels like it's the first time I've ever done any like hamstring curls or anything like that. It's just to be expected because with the GHD hamstring curl, or if you want to call them the Nordic hamstring curls, they are probably they're probably the single hardest bodyweight movement you can do. Yeah, I feel like most people can't do that. I feel like even the people who do a lot of calisthenics, that can do like what do they call them, planche. When I think it's called planche, where they're hanging front lever. Planche is when you're on the ground actually, and you are basically doing a plank with your feet off of the ground. Really crazy to think about, but yeah, I think the Nordic hamstring curl is a little bit less common. I don't know if it's just because it's one of those movements that nobody does, like because it's a bodyweight movement. Here's my set at a 105 with no belt, and like honestly, pretty snappy. Might even be snappier than my sets at 105 with the belt. Yeah, really real easy. I'm happy with those. I'm happy with how those are looking. After that, I did my clean panda pulls. These are really strange. It's a really long range of motion, and when I talked to Steve earlier today, he told me like if I had a preference for like what type of pulls I normally do, and I told him that I usually do like RDLs or like floating clean pulls, and he was saying that a good reason to include the panda pull is because the speed you generate from the panda pull is just simply significantly higher than it would be if you did a regular clean pull, and that is very true. I just feel very, 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 very awkward. You see here, this is 100. The goal was to start at about like 80 and then go up with each set until I'm get around my best clean. So best clean for today is 105, right? So I could have stayed at 105, but I went to 110 here, and I did 2 sets at 110. And like, I just feel like coordination with like positions and timing is just a little bit off. I think I should be trying to get my elbows higher while kind of keeping my upper body vertical. Whereas right now, sometimes when I try to pull my elbows high, I'll pull my upper body back to the bar. And that is basically like cheating height on the bar. And like I'm looking at it, yeah, it should be looking more like this rather than, so that little second dip is supposed to be what it should look like rather than the first one. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do that. I was thinking about, there's that one girl who's an American lifter where her elbows get crazy high after extension, and I'm trying to get a little bit more close to something like that. But we'll see. You know, it's just something I need to practice. After that, I did my back squats, just 3 sets of 5 at 135. I think the goal is to get to 3 sets of 5 at like 155 at some point. That's what Steve was saying. So hopefully I'll be able to get there. These were not that hard. The goal is to keep tension in the hips throughout the whole range of motion. But the problem is that like my left lumbar and my left kind of hip area, well, not the hip, just like the lumbar, glutes were okay, but the lumbar, how many times did I say lumbar, was hurting, like a achy, like uncomfortable type of sensation, which is atypical. Usually the back that hurts is my right side, and it's never really hurt on the left side. So I think that is a sign that I'm getting stronger from yesterday's work. And like I'm not gonna put too much stock into it, and we'll see how I feel tomorrow, and we'll see how I feel on Saturday. But I think it is a sign that I am improving and I'm getting better. So yeah, today was a long one, long video here. So I mean, if you made it to the end, thank you. But yeah, not much else to say. I'm really happy that I'm able to do all of the things that I'm doing right now. I feel like I have just a lot more excited energy, a lot more joy when I'm starting to lift again. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shoots.